Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be doing a tier list of all of the Best Picture nominees of the 2020s so far. My god, it has been 5 years, we're at the halfway point of the decade, and there's been 48 films, my god. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing a few of these kinds of videos for March. April is probably when I'll start doing the early Oscar predictions, but March is going to be like recapping what happened this past decade in terms of movies and the Oscars, really mainly the Oscars, doing some top 10 lists and tier lists. So if you like this, give it a like, and also, consider becoming a member of the channel, which here's an ad for right now. Boop.
We interrupt this programming to tell you that channel memberships are open. For $2 a month, you can get members-only video content, from reading your comments, special editorials, small awards, season updates, and more. Other perks include weekly members-only live streams, exclusive emojis, badges, and even access to my members-only Discord server. You also get your name to appear in my videos as a special thanks for your support. With your help, we can conquer the Oscar space on YouTube and rule over all. Remember, Uncle Chris needs you.
And before I start, I'm going to let you know that I have a link for this tier list in the description of this video. So if you want to make your own list, send it to me over on Blue Sky or Twitter or something like that, like wherever social media is going to be nowadays. Let's get started with All Quiet on the Western Front. This is one that I feel like has aged very well over the years. Like, I know, which is probably weird because like most people are kind of like lukewarm on All Quiet on the Western Front nowadays, but I can't help it, man. This is like some good shit that I'm really into, at least in terms of like the classic kind of Oscar bait films. I really love All Quiet on the Western Front. The craft on hand is unbelievable, especially with a budget of less than $20 million. Like, my god. And I hate to say it, but you know what? Fuck it. I'll put it in an S tier. I love this film. It's very relevant today, and, I think this is a very, very fantastic remake. Next on the list is American Fiction, which also, in a way, I feel like has gotten better over time as I've thought about it. Like, I already thought this was great when I first saw it, but, the more I think about it, this is a really cool story. This is a really funny story about how this black author, doesn't want to be just labeled as just a black writer who has to write, black stories and, the kind of stereotypical black stories that get a lot of attention. And it's such a really funny story. It has so many twists and turns, and even some of like the family drama stuff is like, it's kind of interesting in how it kind of weaves into the non-traditional black story, stuff that we see in media. So I gotta say, I really loved American Fiction. I'm gonna put it in A tier for me. It's great. Anatomy of a Fall, man. Again, really great story, really great writing. I mean, and even the performance from Sandra Hüller really does age better for me as time goes on. Like, you really don't know whether or not she killed her husband or not. And the way this movie goes, and the way the movie tells its story, it's like you still like throughout a lot of the runtime, you don't really know what's going on. But even though it's not like it's confusing or anything, it's just the movie is purposefully leading you onto this mystery. So I really do like that. And so I'm going to put Anatomy of a Fall in A tier. Would I put this above or below American Fiction? Maybe right now I'll say slightly below American Fiction, but yeah. Oh boy, Honora. Look, guys, I know I've beaten this horse to death, so no, the horse is already dead. But the funny thing is, I'm not going to put it in F. It's not so bad to where I put it in F tier. No. I hate that it won Best Picture, but when judging this list, I'm basically, giving the grade that I would give any of these movies. So I don't think it's a completely F tier. It's not like there's nothing of quality to it. There's just very, very little of it. So it's probably the worst out of all these Best Picture nominees, in my opinion. Probably the worst, maybe. But I am going to put it in D tier. Avatar: The Way of Water. Okay, another film that I might have a bit of a hot take on, but I really dug this film. I like Avatar 1 good enough. Like, I was like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's you especially have to see it in the theater. Like, I remember trying to watch this on, like, Disney Plus in 2020, and I was like, alright, it's okay, but eh. But then when I saw it in the theater before Avatar The Way of Water was coming out, I was like, oh, this is, like, how Avatar is meant to be seen. Because I actually did not see Avatar when it first came out in 2009 in theaters. But so when I saw Avatar, I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, you're not supposed to watch this on TV. And then Avatar The Way of Water is the exact same. I mean, my God. Probably even more so because I kind of like the story more this go around. It's not just the Pocahontas story. Obviously, it's still a little bit familiar, but I would push back on saying that it's just the first one again. No, there are some twists and turns that I didn't see coming, and obviously, there's not like a, liar revealed kind of thing where it's like, whoa, you aren't what you said you were, you liar. Now I'm angry. Now I'm gonna sulk for a while. Nobody really does that in this film. It's a little bit refreshing. So I'd probably say Avatar The Way of Water. Ooh. I'll put it in A tier. Lower A tier for me. The Banshees of Inisherin. My God. Still probably one of the best written films of the decade so far. I really love Banshees of Inisherin. The performances are amazing. It has a really sick, twisted sense of humor, which I really dug. I mean, what else can I say about the Banshees of Inisherin? It's fantastic. I'm gonna put it in S tier, a little bit below All Quiet on the Western Front, because I feel like, again, All Quiet on the Western Front has just held up better as time goes on. Barbie. Barbie, my God. Like, the fact that this still got nominated for Best Picture is amazing. Like, they actually went out for a Barbie film, even though they only gave it one win, which is kind of weird. I mean, it's Greta Gerwig. Like, Greta Gerwig makes great films. I thought, again, the performances are amazing. I thought Ryan Gosling should have won Best Supporting Actor for playing Ken. I thought he deserved that. The screenplay was really funny. I love the costumes. I love the production design. The I'm Just Ken scene is like one of the best musical sequences of the decade so far. I love Barbie. I have no qualms with it. I'm probably going to put it... Ooh, do I actually put it in high A tier? Maybe I'll put it in high A tier. For now, we'll have to see. Belfast. Like, this is one where I might have a bit of a hot take compared to a lot of Oscar Twitter. I love Belfast. Belfast, I thought, was a very nice story. Like, very good dialogue. Very good learers. I love the cinematography of the film. It looks very nice. It's just a really nice time, It's a really nice time, and yes, at least of the nominees, that would have been my pick for Best Original Screenplay. But sadly, Mass was not nominated, so whatever. Maybe right now I'll put Belfast in low S tier, because I don't really have any qualms with the film. It's about, like, everything about it I just really love. So, yeah. The Brutalist. Man, we could have had this one Best Picture. That would have been amazing. Okay, I need to get off that train. Oh my God. But yeah, the fact that this movie costs like, what, $6 million and it's directed this well and it has a scope this huge, that is a massive undertaking. That is incredible. Again, all these actors are giving some of the best performances of their careers. Like Brady Corbet did an amazing job directing this film. The production design is just so sleek and nice to look at. I'm probably going to put The Brutalist maybe in high A tier. Not S tier, but probably high A tier for me. Coda. All right, one of the more controversial Best Picture winners, but weirdly enough, this is like one of only two films I liked that won Best Picture, and I actually quite enjoyed Coda a lot. Probably loved. I really do love it's really the performances that do it for me. And again, don't get me wrong, the writing is pretty good as well. It's very good, but it's the performances that really bring the whole film together. Troy Kutzer is amazing. Emilia Jones is amazing, and the entire family is amazing as well. So yeah, it's probably gonna go in maybe lower A tier for me, but yeah, I actually really dug Coda. A Complete Unknown. All right, this is the most recent of the films I've seen. Like, of the Best Picture nominees this decade, this is the one I've seen most recently. This is pretty good. It's not, great. I do think Timothée Chalamet, Edward Norton are fantastic. The sound mixing is some of the best of this year, at least, or technically 2024, I should say. But yeah, I don't think I would nominate it for Best Picture. It's not that kind of film for me, but I'd probably put it in like a low B tier. It's good. It's good, but not amazing, in my opinion. Conclave. arguably, actually, wait, maybe not the adapted screenplay of the decade. Like, for me, that might be Oppenheimer, but however, still an amazing winner. Like, still a fantastic winner, even of the 2024 movies. Like, it would have been my overall pick for best adapted screenplay. Again, performances are all fantastic. The editing is so perfectly paced. Like, it is such a perfectly paced movie. I wish that just won editing over Anora, but still, yeah. I have no problem putting Conclave up in S tier. Ooh. Above or below All Quiet? Maybe right now above All Quiet, actually. Maybe it might be above that. Again, that classic Oscar bait that I really, really love. I just love that shit. Don't Look Up. Again, this is a weird scenario because Don't Look Up would have been like a great, like, 9 out of 10 if it wasn't for that stupid fucking ending, like with the aliens and shit. Oh my god, like, it was like a mid-credit scene. It was so unfunny. It does away with a lot of the message the film was going for. It was oblique. It was supposed, like the way the movie, really should have ended was very bleak and sad. But I feel like that's how it should have ended. But this one, it's more like, well, I mean, we gotta have some comeuppance somehow. And it's just like, come on, guys, like, you had a very like kind of bleak but yet poignant ending, and yet you ruin it with this stupid shit. Like, I actually got angry watching the mid-credits scene for Don't Look Up. It was that infuriating. So this, it's not gonna be an S tier or even an A tier for me, but it's gonna be B tier. If it wasn't for that mid-credit scene, this would be like a very, very good A tier. Again, it's still good. It's still a good movie, but it's like B tier good, this film. So yeah. Drive My Car. I'm not gonna lie, I was dreading the idea of watching this film because apparently it was like a slow burn 3-hour film. I'm like, oh no, this is not gonna be my thing. But then it was. Like, it was actually I don't know what it was about the film, like the way it was paced and the way, maybe it was also the performances that were very engaging and the characters were just very interesting. But Drive My Car, I really, really dug. It's a very, like, relaxing film in a way. It's a very relaxing film to just sort of watch and just chill. And it's like, yeah, again, who would have thought a 3-hour slow burn film about a guy who has a car would be great, but I thought it was. It's probably gonna be... do I like Avatar or Drive My Car more? Maybe right now put in Drive My Car above it. But yeah, Drive My Car was a lot better than I was expecting it to be. And then we get to Dune and Dune Part 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of talk about both these films because, my god, these are already some of the best sci-fi films I've seen in quite some time. Like, and yet, Denis Villeneuve, as great of a director as he is, I can at least maybe understand Dune Part 1, because, like, that year I probably would have given Best Director to Steven Spielberg for West Side Story, but at the same time, Dune Part 2, I mean, come on, nothing should have been beating Dune Part 2 that year, especially with as weak of a director competition as we had, and Denis Villeneuve was not even nominated. Are you insane? Like, it is insulting, to be honest. It is insulting. Dune Part 1, I'm gonna put up in S tier. Like, fantastic pacing, very, very good world building, to be honest. And overall, it's just creating this new world. I mean, obviously we know the world of Dune, but we've never seen it done this way before. So, that's putting in S tier for me. And then Dune Part 2 is even better. Now that we know the world building, and yet somehow this film does even more world building. It has some amazing spectacle sequences, even more gorgeous cinematography, even more gorgeous production design. How this got nominated for like half the Oscars the first film got nominated for is insane. I mean, hell, it got nominated for less Oscars than the first film won. That, again, insulting to me, insulting. Elvis. This was another film where when I heard this was coming out, I was not really looking forward to it. I was like, oh god. Like, do we need another Elvis biopic? We've seen so many movies about Elvis. And then I heard the buzz, when it came out, I was like, oh, actually, Elvis might be better than you think. I'm like, really? Elvis? And then I watched it and I was blown away. A lot of it had to do with Austin Butler's performance. I mean, he breathed new life into Elvis in a way that I did not think anyone could. But also just the filmmaking in general. Like, sure, yeah, this is kind of reminiscent of musical biopics that we've seen before in terms of story. But if you're not going to evolve the story out all that much, at least evolve the visuals. And holy shit, the cinematography, the editing, the sound mixing, which granted, that's not visuals, that's audio, but still, it was unbelievable, what I was seeing on screen. It was fantastic. Maybe it could have had some stronger pacing around the end, but overall, I mean, my God, if there is a showcase for, just really, really good filmmaking, then it is Elvis. I'm going to put that in a higher A tier, funny enough. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I might put it over the Brutalist here in a bit, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how the list goes. I'll probably, adjust some stuff once we get to the end of this list. Emilia Perez. I remember when I first watched this film, I was really loving it. I was like, oh wow, this is really good. But then I started hearing some of the stuff about, the problems with the film, like the harmful trans stereotypes. And I'm like, oh no. And the more I started thinking about it, it's like, oh man, I can't really defend this movie much. So I've become rather indifferent to Emilia Perez. So I'm just going to kind of put in C tier. I still think there's some very good scenes in the film. I still think El Mal is a very good show-stopping scene. The Para song is very good. What was it? Mi Camino is a very good song. The performances I don't think are bad at all. I think the performances are actually very good. And, had Carla Sofia Gascon not been an absolute piece of shit, I probably would have nominated her for lead actress, but you had to just do that, and not even owning up to any mistakes, but whatever. I just feel rather indifferent to Emilia Perez. Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is another kind of hot take I have, because I didn't really like this film all that much. I mean, it's not annoying like Anora. It's not that level. It was mainly a comedy that I didn't find very funny. And if you're a comedy that I don't think is very funny, then you kind of failed overall. Because yeah, sure, there's dramatic scenes as well, but the fact that it is a comedy first and foremost, it's well, if you don't get the comedy down, I don't really care about what happens in the dramatic scenes. Again, I do feel like there's some very good elements of the film, like Michelle Yeoh, Ke Huy Quan. I thought they were fantastic. And, I like the costume design. The editing can be pretty creative. But, however, I don't really feel very strongly over Everything Everywhere All at Once. So, yeah. The Fabelmans. Oh, my God. The more I think about The Fabelmans, the more I just fall in love with that movie. My God, it's so good. Seeing sort of a semi-autobiography of his life. It's one of those films where it's I didn't really know where it was going. It's all right, what are we doing? I mean, I'm interested, but I'm not quite connecting the dots right now. And then everything comes together in the end. And this is one of those situations where it's not that the movie was saved by the ending, because I still thought it would have been good, but the ending really does pull everything together in a very nice bow that feels very cohesive and makes a lot of sense. And again, I just started that's what this movie was all about. Plus, even just the ending itself, I mean, holy shit. It is one of the more inspiring scenes I've seen in a while. And that is really only the magic that Steven Spielberg can bring. So I love The Fabelmans so much. I might even put it up in S tier. Yeah, I mean, it was obviously going to be an S tier. But man, I really love The Fabelmans. Then we get to The Father. The Father was actually a film that I didn't really know anything about it going into it. But then when I found out it was about Anthony Hopkins playing a father who was going through dementia, I was like, oh, okay. How are we going to deal with this? And then the movie's direction starts to show in quite a bit into the film. And you start to see the world physically change and people physically changing. I was oh my God. It was terrifying to watch. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of made me fear if I'll go into dementia when I am old and decrepit. Like, it was a horrifying film to sit through, and very emotional. And Anthony Hopkins may have given the best performance of the 2020s decade so far. He is so good in this film. Like, oh my god, like, he's so good. So yeah, I really love The Father. I'm probably going to put The Father up in very, very high A tier right now. Ooh, The Holdovers, another example of that good shit that I love. Like, The Holdovers, like the funny thing is, I'm not even like that big a fan of Alexander Payne's movies. Like, I like Sideways, but it was kind of like in one ear out the other. It's like, I thought it was fine. The Holdovers is not only really funny, but even the filmmaking. The filmmaking is so good. Like, they really did make it feel like an old classic, 70s comedy. Like, from the cinematography to the sound mixing. Oh my god, Paul Giamatti was fantastic. Divine Joy Randolph was fantastic. Dominic Sessa should have gotten an Oscar nomination for this film. He was that good. But no, he didn't, because he was young. I love The Holdovers. Like, again, it was probably one of the best written films of that year as well. So I'm gonna put The Holdovers probably. I'll probably put it below All Quiet on the Western Front. But yeah, great movie. I love the comedy. I'm Still Here. Man, talk about a David and Goliath situation where Brazil actually managed to take down the giant known as Amelia Perez. Like, I didn't think it would happen, and yet it did. And I'm not even gonna say it's undeserved, because, like, I'm Still Here was great. Again, like, it's about a woman, a real-life woman, who, had her husband was, taken by the Brazilian government, and she spent years trying to find him and stuff. And it's just like, oh my god. Like, and even like going through lots of political means to, find answers and as to where he is. And it's just like, it's so good. You see time span through so much in the film. And it's like, my god. I really loved I'm Still Here. I'm gonna put I'm Still Here probably here. Like, lower A tier, but that's great. If you're an A tier, that's great. Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm not gonna lie, I have not seen this one in a very, I have not seen this movie since it came out in 2020. But I remember really digging Judas and the Black Messiah. I thought Daniel Kaluuya was fantastic in the role. Lakeith Stanfield, even though he was so not a supporting role, he was the lead. Again, he was fantastic as well. I thought, the movie was very well written, but again, the movie really stands on the shoulders of the performances. Like, it's a very, very strong film. I will put Judas and the Black Messiah probably in A tier. Yeah, I'll put that in A tier right here. All right. Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese's first film of the 2020s. And yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's a very, very agreeable kind of Martin Scorsese, historical epic. I thought he did a great job directing this film. Again, the performances were all amazing. Lily Gladstone should have won Best Lead Actress, and I'm so upset that they did not win. Like, I'm so upset over that. But, I mean, this is a story that needed to be told, and, I'm glad that, Scorsese was able to confront this, because, a lot of, Hollywood these days would probably, maybe not so much, maybe not as much these days, but back then, if this movie were made 20 years ago, it would try to, form the narrative and where, the white sheriff who, apparently I think that's actually how originally the film was going to be told, where the white sheriff played by Jesse Plemons was going to be the protagonist. But I like how the protagonist is Lily Gladstone's character. My god, I love Killers of the Flower Moon. It's Scorsese. You can't really go wrong with him. So I'm gonna put this up in probably higher A tier. Probably, higher A tier for me. King Richard, the movie that won Will Smith an Oscar for Best Lead Actor, moments after he slapped Chris Rock. To be fair, I don't really hate the win at all. I thought he was actually very good in King Richard. I would have probably voted for who are some people? Like, I'd probably vote for Denzel Washington and Andrew Garfield above him. Maybe Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm not exactly sure. That's the one where I'm like kind of teetering on, but Will Smith was still very good in King Richard. He was still very, very good in the movie. But the movie overall is pretty good. Like, it's not like one that that's gonna stick out to me that much. And even back then, I was like, I don't think this is a great movie. So like, I wouldn't nominate it for Best Picture. But again, it's good. It's a pretty good film. I'll probably put it a little bit below Don't Look Up, because I do feel like the highs of Don't Look Up are stronger than the highs of King Richard, so yeah. Licorice Pizza, okay. Yeah, this is kind of down there with Anora as some of the, like, Best Picture nominees that I like the least. What do I do about this one? Man, because I just thought Licorice Pizza was not funny. I didn't think the story was very interesting. Funny enough, maybe I would say it's a little bit better than Anora. I probably would rank it higher than Anora, because at the very least, I did really love Bradley Cooper as John Peters. Honestly, the whole movie should have been about these kids looking after John Peters' house, and, stuff goes wrong, and we occasionally cut back to him and his little adventures. Like, that's what the movie should have been about, but for the most part, the movie's kind of about nothing, and if you're a movie about nothing, you need to be very, very engaging for me to be interested, and Licorice Pizza did not really do that for me. But it didn't actively annoy me like Anora did. I wasn't begging for Anora to end. But Licorice Pizza was also a bit way too long. I'll put it, like, right now, put it in, like, low C tier. I did not care for Licorice Pizza at all. All right, Maestro. All right, this is the Leonard Bernstein biopic, directed by, written, and produced by Bradley Cooper, which I know has gotten a lot of hate online. A lot of people don't like, Bradley Cooper in this movie. They're like, oh, he's such a tryhard. I don't care. I thought Maestro was actually very good. Not amazing. I would not nominate it for Best Picture, but come on. Bradley Cooper, like, if Cillian Murphy, was not a thing that year, like, if Cillian Murphy was not, or, like, if Oppenheimer hadn't come out and Cillian Murphy wasn't in it, then, like, Bradley Cooper would have been my pick for Best Lead Actor. I thought he was that strong in the film. Again, I would not nominate it for Best Picture, but there were a lot of high points in Maestro. Again, the performances, the cinematography is absolutely gorgeous. Holy shit. The sound mixing is amazing, and also the makeup is just phenomenal, especially when we get to, like, really old Leonard Bernstein. Like, he looks fantastic. So I'm gonna put Maestro maybe, like, around mid-B tier. Mid-B tier is probably where I'd say. Mank. This is an interesting film because, like, I really didn't, or maybe not really didn't like, but I kind of generally just didn't really like Mank all that much when I first saw it. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, actually, this is very good. Really love the cinematography. Really love the production design. Really, like, it's just a very good looking movie. Very good performances. I don't think I would say it's great. Like, it hasn't really stuck with me all that much. I mean, not that, okay, it stuck with me a little bit, but, how do I describe it? It's like, it stuck with me enough to where I think it's still, like, very, very good. But I'd probably put Mank over in, what is it? Maybe upper B tier. Yeah, upper B tier is probably where I would put that film. Minari. All right. I like the film, but it has not really stuck with me all that much over these years. Again, the performances are all very good. I thought Steven Yeun especially deserved his Oscar nomination for Best Lead Actor. I thought he was fantastic in the film. But again, I don't really remember, like, for example, I don't remember the score all that much. I don't remember a lot of the story. Oh yeah, and also Yo Jun-young. I thought she was very much deserving of her Oscar nomination. So yeah, I'm gonna put Minari maybe in like a, yeah, lower B tier. I think, yeah, that's where I probably put Minari right now. Nickel Boys. Okay, this is a very unique kind of movie because, This was all from like a first-person perspective. A lot of people found it jarring. I thought it was very interesting, and I was able to get used to it because I actually watched like, a Heist with Markiplier and In Space with Markiplier. A lot of Markiplier's like first-person perspective stories. I think, there was also like A Date with Markiplier and Who Killed Markiplier, but the prior two, or like the two that came afterwards, which were Heist and Space, that had like a filmmaking style that was a little bit closer to Nickel Boys, looking a lot more professional. So it wasn't really that jarring to me, and I thought it did a very good job, literally putting us in the shoes of these two boys, and I thought it was great. The performances, again, were all fantastic, especially Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor. She should have been nominated for an Oscar for that. My God. Very good cinematography. It is a hard watch at times, but it's worth it. And also the direction. Romel Ross did an amazing job directing Nickel Boys. Do I put it above or below Anatomy of a Fall? Maybe I would put it... Okay, I'll look at the list later on, but I'll probably put it below Anatomy of a Fall right now. Nightmare Alley, Guillermo del Toro's Best Picture nominated film of the 2020s. We'll see if Frankenstein can do that. I'm not really expecting it to, but still. Nightmare Alley. This is one where I kind of have a little bit of a hot take over. I didn't really care for Nightmare Alley that much. I thought it was rather boring. I thought there was some great performances. The craft especially was amazing, especially the production design. Like, my God. But the pacing was a slog. It was a slog to get through. I was like, man, this is a really slow movie. So... yeah, for me, it's kind of mid. I'll probably put it maybe a little bit below Everything Everywhere All at Once. But yeah, Nomadland. Once again, I have to have a hot take here. I didn't really care for Nomadland that much. Again, sort of like Nightmare Alley, I thought it was just very, very boring. Again, in fact, in some ways, it's kind of like Licorice Pizza, where like nothing really happens, and it's not even really that engaging. Frances McDormand, I will say, is like the bright spot of the film. I thought she deserved her lead actress win, to be quite honest, but nothing really else is really remarkable about the film. So I'm gonna probably give Nomadland, I'm gonna put Nomadland in like a low C tier. Oppenheimer! Oh my God, let's go. I didn't really care for the Best Picture winners as a whole of the 2020s so far, but Oppenheimer might be the best Picture winner I've seen in a very, very, very long time. I love Christopher Nolan's movies. I think Christopher Nolan is my favorite director. The only film of his I didn't like was Following, but that was also his first film, so I'm not really shocked. Ever since then, I probably would have given all those movies 10s. Like, I am like a big, big Nolan fan. And so when he does Oppenheimer, like, holy shit, man. Like, he just did an amazing job with this. Like, holy shit. Like, the craft, the directing, the acting, the writing, the cinematography, the editing, the sound editing, sound mixing, score. Oh my God, it was all fantastic. I love Oppenheimer. There's no question that this is S tier. And it might even be above Dune Part 2. Oppenheimer is just that good. Hell, it might even be my favorite biopic of all time. If I'm going to be completely honest, it might actually be my favorite biopic. Like, it is such, like, it does especially what I love in film, where it's just like, it's sort of like a traditional kind of Oscar bait film, but it also elevates it with like new craft and with like the way the movie is just crafted, it feels new. It feels like you've never seen something like this before. It is a spectacle. I wish I could have seen this film in IMAX, because like this would have been an absolute treat. I love Oppenheimer so much. Past Lives. This is another film where I was kind of a little bit surprised as to how much I liked it. Like, Past Lives, I thought was a fantastically directed film. I mean, don't get me wrong, the writing is very good as well, but the directing really sold it for me. It's a very precise film in its direction, and I could just pick up on like little things the characters were going through just from the way the film was shot or edited. It's just so well done. I love Past Lives so much. I'm going to put this in S tier. S tier for me. I'll probably put it in, low S tier, but being low S tier, I mean, that's nothing to scoff at. I mean, my God. Poor Things. Again, another hot take. I did not like Poor Things. This movie was just like too stupid and just too silly. Like, I know there's some people that are like trying to make a controversy out of it where it's like, oh, you know, the movie is about, you know, a woman who has the brain of a child. Like, this is, it's like, I think that's missing the point of the film. I don't think the movie's trying to do that. It's just not funny. Again, sort of like Everything Ever All at Once. It's a comedy that I just did not really find funny, and it was a little bit annoying. Not as annoying as Honora. I mean, my God. Oh God. Ooh. And I could say that there are some good things about this film. Like, I think the production design and costume design were very, very good. But overall, I'm kind of surprised that this was probably number 2 for Best Picture. I'm like, really? Like, nothing else was number 2? Like, are we really gonna do this? So, yeah, I'm gonna put Poor Things, probably low C tier. It was also way too long. What was it, like 2 hours and 40-something minutes or something? This movie needed to be chopped down like by like a third. Like, holy shit. The Power of the Dog. This is one that I kind of do want to rewatch one of these days, because I do really like this film. I do really like The Power of the Dog. I love the score. Again, the performances are all amazing. I honestly think Cody Smith-McPhee would have been my pick to win Best Supporting Actor. I just thought he was that good in the film, especially once you get to the ending. The ending is like, I really like that. So I'm going to put The Power of the Dog in probably very high B tier. Promising Young Woman. This is one where I'm like, you know, again, I like it. I don't get the hype for it. I don't get, like, why it won Best Original Screenplay. Because, like, I don't know. Something about the film just, like, the way it ends is just kind of like, oh, we're not... And not even just the way it ends. It's like, throughout the entire film, it's about a woman who, you know, kills predators. And I think that's a really interesting concept. But we never see her actually kill anyone. It's like... Really? Like, we just, like we're not gonna do anything with this concept? A lot of it kind of feels like wasted potential. Now, granted, I'm not saying you need to show everything in the film. In fact, I feel like one of the more powerful scenes in the film is when, you know, she's watching a video on a phone and you don't see what's happening. All you hear is what's going on the phone and you see her reaction. That's, I think, a great example of, you know, of implying what's happening without showing it. That was great. But like, for a concept like this, where again, it's about a woman who kills sexual predators, it's like, I want to see that happen. I want to see her kill some dudes. And I'm not just, granted, it's not just like the, you know, the violence part of my brain, but it's like, I feel like it would have hammered home the point a little bit more, but the film, for the most part, was kind of like tell, don't show, and it just doesn't really show you anything. It doesn't really show you, you know, what, like, a lot of the story, and it's just kind of like, it's a little bit underwhelming. Again, it's good, but I don't think it's as good as a lot of people would say it is. Again, in my opinion, I'd probably put it... Maybe, a low B tier. Probably a low B tier. Sound of Metal. This was one where I think I actually watched it before it was getting all this, like, big Oscar buzz. Like, I had heard of this film, but, like, I didn't realize what it was about. And basically, it's about a drummer who's going deaf. And you literally hear everything from his perspective. Or at least most things from his perspective. Like, the sound mixing is so crazy in the film. It is like... Ooh, I love this a lot. Like, this is probably some of the best sound work I've heard, and in some cases, lack thereof, in quite a while. Again, Riz Ahmed is fantastic in the film. A lot of the ensemble, which I'm assuming is mostly deaf actors, is very, very good as well. Paul Raci is also amazing in the film. Oh my God. But yeah, I really love Sound of Metal. Sound of Metal is fantastic. I'm going to put that in a high A tier. Probably even more than Killers of the Flower Moon, if I'm going to be honest. So, yeah, I really, really dug Sound of Metal. The Substance. Man, it's always nice to see a horror movie get into Best Picture. You know, it doesn't happen a lot, but hey, it happened with The Substance. Probably one of the more creative stories of the decade so far. I love where this whole thing goes. I love the story. I love, it really is a lot of it has to do with the story, but Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley are fantastic in the film. This movie should have won Best Film Editing, and it wasn't even nominated. Like, criminal. The makeup is amazing. The sound design and sound mixing is really fucked up. I love that. I just really love the substance. This is another film that I will probably actually put in S tier. How high in S tier, you may ask? Right now, I'll put it like just below Holdovers, but man, oh god, this movie, it really, a lot of it really is the writing. I love the writing and the substance. Tar, once again, hot take, I did not really care for Tar. I thought this movie was very boring. Oh my god, I don't like boring movies. I don't like slogs. This felt like a slog to get through. And I just didn't feel like the main character was really interesting. She seemed just very one note. Just like complete, like, just douche. And it's like, obviously I love a good douche in the movie. You know, obviously, you know, in a way, you know, I love Joker. I thought Joker was a fantastic look at a terrible person. But Lydia Tarr is just not really interesting, really. She's just not really interesting. And I don't really know what the movie is trying to say. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the pacing. I just thought the pacing was just not that strong. So I'm going to put Tar, oh god, ooh. I'm going to put Tar probably, lower C tier for me. Top Gun Maverick, okay. This is a very good film. No, actually, maybe not very. I'll say it's a pretty good film. I don't really get all the hype for Top Gun Maverick, but then again, it's mostly the olds. The olds really love Top Gun Maverick. They're saying, this, like, you know, saved cinema, even though Spider-Man No Way Home made more money and came out before Top Gun Maverick. But let's face it, old people just don't like Marvel, and they just want to give credit to something that had sloppy seconds, but okay. But regardless, it's like, it's good, like, but it's nothing, like, amazing. It's like, you know, I thought the effects are amazing, the cinematography is amazing, the sound work is amazing, like, the craft in general is very, very good. It's just good, but it's nothing, again, it's just nothing really that amazing. I don't know what it is, like, at least with Spider-Man No Way Home or something like that, like, it had more compelling characters, like, granted, it was also, you know, we were seeing a lot of legacy characters, but I was more interested in what they were going through than the characters here. It's just kind of like, you know, again, I like the film, I quite like it, but I'll probably put it maybe like mid B tier, maybe, actually I'll probably put it below King Richard. Yeah, that's probably where I would put Top Gun Maverick. Trial of the Chicago 7. All right, another one of those examples of, like, that good shit. It is that good shit. I love the writing in this film. I love the way this film is written. The screenplay is amazing. The editing is amazing. The ensemble is fantastic. Mark Rylance is underrated in this film, and so is Eddie Redmayne. This is just like everything I love in an Oscar bait film. And this is one of those rare films where, like, even though it came out in 2020, I actually saw it again in 2023. And I was like, damn, like, I really love this movie. So I'm probably going to actually put Trial of the Chicago 7 pretty high up. Like, do I put it above or below Barbie? You know, I may actually put it in S tier. Okay, no, I wasn't going to put it in S tier, but I might actually put it above Barbie. I mean, look, sorry, I really like the classic kind of Oscar bait films. I really love those. Triangle of Sadness. Man, this is one of the films on here that probably pissed me off the most. This is like the epitome of a director who is like so like self-indulgent and pretentious, thinking they're saying the most groundbreaking things and thinking they're so funny. But my God, this movie's not clever at all. Like, ooh, the rich people are pretentious, but also this youth is pretentious. Like, they're always on their phones and, wanting to be like famous online. Like, my God, like, I really hate these kind of people where it's just like, oh, I'm saying the most original thing, and I'm just like so fun. I'm just like that boomer that thinks I'm so clever. Ugh, God, ugh. I really hate the attitude that Triangle of Sadness has, if I'm going to be completely honest. The attitude this film has is just the attitude I really hate in filmmakers. It's like, you are not saying anything groundbreaking, you stupid son of a bitch. Okay, I need to stop being mean. But yeah, I don't like Triangle of Sadness at all. I honestly, do I put it in D tier? You know what? Yeah, screw you. I'll put this in D tier. Man, this is one of those movies that actually kind of aged the worst for me, because it's like, when I first saw it, I thought it was like kind of mid, like it's not that great. But man, the more this movie has just sat on me, as the years go by, the more I'm like, oh fuck this movie. My God, I hate the attitude that this film has. So yeah. Then we get to the last 4 films, and luckily all 4 of them are great. So let's start with West Side Story. My God, this movie is so good, it has literally become like one of my favorite movies ever. I love West Side Story so much. Like, it has everything I love. Like, it's such a brilliant reimagining. Like, love the performances. The cinematography is exquisite. The sound work is so good. Like, the editing is so good. The blocking is so good. Oh my God, the directing. Steven Spielberg should have won his 3rd, no, he does have a 3rd Oscar, but like, he should have had his 4th Oscar for this. This is like so well directed, it's kind of stupid. I love West Side Story so much. That again, it's like it's in my top 10 favorite films of all time. You are going in S tier, at the top, nothing's coming close. I mean, maybe Oppenheimer could be in the top 20, I'm not exactly sure. But West Side Story, I love you, you deserve so much better. Wicked. Again, I thought Wicked was fantastic. I love Wicked. Probably more than a lot of Oscar Twitter does. I love, again, the performances are all fantastic. Ariana Grande should have probably won Best Supporting Actress. And even with the cinematography, like, sure, you could argue that the lighting isn't, like, amazing, but I thought the camera movements were very smooth and well shot. I think that was a very strong point of the film. The costume design is fantastic. The production design is fantastic. Oh my God. Like, and even the way the movie ends, I'm like, this does kind of feel complete to me. I love Wicked so much. So I'm going to put it in S tier, probably. But where would I put it? I'd probably put it just below Conclave. I love Wicked. I love Wicked a lot. So yeah. Women Talking. Again, very well written film. I think like the writing is what makes this movie fantastic. Like, I love the writing in Women Talking. The performances are also all fantastic ensemble, by the way. But it is the writing. I love the way this film is written, the different dilemmas. I love debate films, and so when you see these characters kind of going at it, trying to figure out what to do, I love what was being done. I love again, it's the writing. The writing really does it for me. So I'm going to put Women Talking in A tier. It's one of the ones that has really aged very well for me. So I might actually put Women Talking at high A tier, to be quite honest. Like, I don't know what it is. Actually, wait, am I actually going to put it above Elvis? Maybe I should rewatch this film again. I want to try to see where I stand fully with Women Talking, but yeah, it is one of those films where it's like, it really does age well for me. It does really, really age well for me. And then finally, The Zone of Interest. This is a film where I like literally going into it, I was like, I'm either going to like be bored to tears watching this movie, or I'm going to be like glued to my screen. And I was glued to my screen. I could not stop watching what was happening. I was like, oh my God. And hell, some of it's not even watching. Like, this is another example of, you know, not showing you what's happening does have a bigger impact than actually showing you. Because basically what The Zone of Interest is about, it is about a family that just kind of does their thing. You know, kids are, you know, playing and stuff and collecting things. You know, the mom is cleaning and cooking around the house, dad's going to work. But what this film ultimately reveals is that the family is a Nazi family during Nazi Germany. And there's a concentration camp right beyond their backyard. And while all these, like, you know, menial tasks and plays are all happening, you hear the violence, you hear the inhumane nature going on beyond those walls in the backyard. It is haunting. Like, just, like, again, you just see, like, these kids playing, and, like, as if nothing was wrong, and yet the most horrible atrocities mankind has ever done are being done right beyond their backyard. It is so fucking scary, and the way this movie ends, I was like, oh no. Oh, this is still happening today. Oh shit. God. I love the zone of interest, like, chilled me to the bone in a way that I did not think it was going to. And yeah, this is going high in S tier. High S tier, my God. So yeah, I'm actually going to put it, yeah. It is like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, literally the number 5 best picture nominee of the decade so far. Like, it's that good. I was shocked as to how much I love the zone of interest. So yeah, looking at this list, in terms of nominations for Best Picture, it was great. Like, we've had a great decade so far. There have been, but it's weird because it's like a lot of the winners, you know, Everything Ever All at Once, Nomadland, Nora, the winners this decade have not been very good to me. Again, I loved Coda. I really loved Oppenheimer. Man, I guess I'm just not really enthusiastic about the Best Picture winners so far, because I would have done things way differently. But yeah, guys, now I'm going to pass the question off to you. What are your tier lists for the Best Picture nominees of the 2020s? I want to know. Again, I'm going to put a link to the tier list in the description below, or even, hell, I might even pin it in the comments. And I want to see your tier lists, and, you know, send them to me over on Twitter at the Hannahcast, or on Blue Sky, which is also the Hannahcast. I want to see your tier lists. And thank you guys so much for watching. And be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, I'm going to put you in F tier.